going into the actual interview questions, I'm gonna have a few questions, but I want to do a Q&A with the people in the actual crowd, and want you guys to, whatever you want to learn, questions that you have, I want you guys to, ask those. So because this is for you guys as well. And so I have y'all introduce yourself too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Michael. We're so excited to be partnering with you here at our Chase location. We got to give a big shout out to our branch manager, Javi Sanchez.
Yes.
I think our biggest turnout yet here at this location. So important for us to be speaking about health and wealth as you're moving into 2026. My name is Marcia Treichel. I am the community manager here for Chase in the state of Iowa. And in my role, I help partner with organizations and our community leaders to help bring financial education and teach you things from how to set goals, how to understand credit. With my partner here, we talk through small business components, frauds and scams, everything in between. We partner with our community to help bring that education forward. It's free. You all are here for free today, right? And the opportunity for us to connect and truly make some positive change as we think about how does our finance impact our goals for our future. So welcome. So happy to have you here today.
Great afternoon. My name is Rafael Colon. I'm actually a senior business banking consultant. I work for Chase when it comes to everything involving business owners in the area, specifically in the Des Moines Metro, but we actually are covering the entire state of Iowa as well. Everything that I do through my team, through the business banking team, is finding ways on how we can help business owners become more profitable, finding ways on how they can think outside of the box and look for some other alternatives that could benefit their business. I partner up with Marcia. She works specifically under the consumer side. I work everything under the business side. We partner up on doing workshops where we talk about how business owners can get access to capital, how they can manage their cash flow, how they can work their marketing, their operations, and again, finding ways on how they can become more efficient on what they do, work with their operations, and help them out entirely for free. Again, that is great. The only component that we are kind of different, that we have as a difference, will be that I can do one-on-one coaching consultations. And on that note, there are certain things that you will need to meet as a criteria as a business for me to be able to help you with that one-on-one coaching consultations, but we can definitely discuss about that. We'll stick around, and if you have any other questions, you can definitely reach out as you need. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so jumping right into it, so one of the things is I feel like in certain communities, we really don't learn financial literacy, and then especially after COVID, I kind of feel like it was a generational thing. So what are some of the financial mistakes that you see when people are coming in as far as banking?
Yeah.
Marcia?
Thank you. So I want to point out that we have these amazing financial planning brochures. If Javi, you don't mind helping to pass these out so that you guys can help follow along with this. I think failing to make a plan or feeling confident enough to walk into our different financial institutions and ask the questions. I think we've made banking a little intimidating, if you will, and so part of my role is for us to build that trust, for us to bring that education forward and know that you can find a financial institution you trust and walk in there and let them know what your goals are and what you're looking to accomplish. But you have to have a plan in place. And so if you're looking at your notebooks or your workbooks here, within this it talks about setting SMART goals. So on pages 6 and 7, setting a goal and making it SMART to make sure that you've got something specific that you're working towards. You know, we all have dreams that we want to achieve, but if we don't put a plan behind it, we don't really drill down how do we get to that goal. And thinking about how that will help you ultimately in your values and what's important to you is so important.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it's like an abbreviation, right?
Yes. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely.
Okay, cool. And so as far as that, included in that would be a budget, because those are one of the things is I feel like I ain't really learned. I didn't even like using my planner growing up.
Yeah.
So then like let alone doing a budget. So how important is having a budget as well? Even if it's like you only have 4 bills, 3 or 4 bills, is a budget included in having like a SMART goal?
Yeah, for sure. So once you think about your goal, then from there, how do I create my budget? How do I understand what my cash flow is? What do I have coming in? What are my expenses? Also considering what's a need versus a want. And this is individualized for each of us. We all have different goals, because I could probably rationalize a lot of things and my husband would be like, no, I don't really think that's a need, right? So everyone has a different need versus want or our essential type of expenses, but what do those look like, and truly writing them down and putting it into place. So on pages 13 kicks off the budget builder worksheet. There's a QR code there for you as well to have it in a digital format, but building your savings plan and those goals that you have into your budget is so important. We want to make sure that's part of our plan. Once you've established that budget, you got to revisit it. Life happens, things happen. Go back to your budget and make sure you continually review there and you're tracking along what's taking place.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And so as far as building a budget, I feel like it's included in the business plan as well. And those are one of the things when I first started my business, I was like, I really was just going off the idea of like, man, it would be cool to just work for myself and never have a boss. And so then I started realizing like, that's just like the smallest portion of even having a business, but you got to have a business plan. You got to register your business, figure out which kind of business you want, have projections and everything like that. So like, what are some of the mistakes that you see when people are starting a business that they never keep in mind?
Of course. And before I get into the question, I would like to, of a raise of hands, who is a business owner here in the room? I would like to know.
Or aspiring to be.
Yeah, so inspired to be. Yes. Here we go. I love it.
Cozy
Yes.
Pete!
Here we go. Yes, and you probably will relate as you have a business established already, but for you that you're looking to establish your business, most of the things that we see on this industry is because of missing the part of the knowledge part of it.
Yeah.
Education is key. Sometimes just having an idea is great. You'll think that because you have a great product that may stick without even doing any research in terms of marketing or trying your service or product out there. So making sure that we have a solid business plan is crucial. If you don't have an actual goal, if you don't have a north, it will be hard for you to get actually there. Another type of things that other things that we actually see on these type of situations is that we have business owners mixing their personal financials with their business side. It's okay and it's good initially when you're getting your business starting, but at the same time, making sure you have everything completely separate is gonna be key as well, because that's when you will run into situations that because you don't have the knowledge or you haven't been exposed to that type of situation involving taxes, that could affect you a lot. You'll have situations where you may run out of money under the business side, and that you think that you sticking in to get into your cash, your savings account under the personal side will save you. Initially, that could potentially work, but you need to make sure that just differentiate what is the business and what is personal as well.
No, yeah, that's great. Because one of the things too, I feel like when you're initially starting a business, a lot of people think, I mean, I want to ask if this is true or not, but a lot of people think that the business starts when you get an LLC and then you get an EIN number. But I feel like truly your business starts when you have an actual bank account, because that's like a track record of what your business is doing. Is that true that when you truly start a business then?
There's different components, but definitely having the EIN, for example, that will be the social security for the business, is crucial, because like that is how you're gonna be able to track and go back to your taxes and everything that is involving the DNA of your business mainly, and definitely registering the business through the Secretary of State, specifically here in Iowa, registering your business through the Iowa Secretary of State, that will be fundamental and essential as well. And then as soon as you do that, making sure you have the main thing that you'll need to have in terms of managing your finances is going to be having, of course, a checking account, for example, where you can track where the money comes in, where the money goes out, and you can have everything completely, again, separate from your personal affairs as well.
Okay, wonderful. And so like going back to the personal side, you was talking about mixing up the finances, and then I think that goes along with having the plan. But one of the things that people, I feel like I see on social media, like, I don't know if you guys seen it, is like, people be like, oh man, you need to go I can get you $50,000 in credit, or I can get you $50,000 in this. It's like, if you register and then if you apply to this blank, you apply to this bank, it won't be the same inquiry. And if you do this and do that, so you see a lot of scamming, but then miseducation as far as credit, and then understanding that if you're trying to register for funding with your business, that's also, you're going to have to be personally liable. So can you talk about having your personal credit set up properly, and then can you answer the second part of okay, now that you do have your credit set up properly, and this is how business funding works.
For sure. It is going to stem from your personal credit initially on whether or not that loan gets approved. So understanding where your personal credit is important, knowing the different factors that are in there. If you have opportunities to build credit, things like that, we've got a workshop for you, so come see me afterwards and we can help talk through that. But it is stem from there initially. And so having your credit in order is very important. When you're coming into a financial institution as that business owner, there are different things that they're going to need in order for you to be lendable. And I'll let Rafael talk a little bit about what that looks like.
And these happen quite often where we have business owners that they feel that because they have a business, they need to forget about their personal credit score and report. At the same time, we need to think on both sides. We need to have both of them actually top of the line because you never know when you will use it. And mostly on every credit application when it's involving a business, we'll look into your personal credit. As a financial institution, we are looking for ways of how we can reduce the risk before we can extend any credit as a whole. So what happens with that is, let's say an underwriter is looking to your personal finances and they see that you cannot manage them properly, what they will think about you managing a business, right? So initially, anytime that you do a credit application under the business side, it will show your personal information or your business information. After everything is approved, then you slightly will get out of it and everything will stay under the business name, but as an actual individual, you'll be part of that application as well.
Can you give a breakdown of what an underwriter would be then?
In terms of
like when you're applying for the credit and then there's going to the underwriter, can you break that down too a little bit?
Yeah, so when you're applying for any type of lending, it could be of buying a commercial space or just a business loan. Mainly we're looking into personal finances to make sure that if it's just a personal loan, for, business loan per se, that is not involving any collateral or infrastructure, we look into the ability of that person to be able to pay back that loan, because of course if it's a loan you need to make sure that you plan on getting that definitely paid back. We look into the credit score for the individual as well of the credit score for the business. There's actually a credit score for the business
Would that
too.
be like the DUNS number and stuff like that?
Exactly. We'll look into that. We look as well if there's any assets involved. We look into can we recoup, can we just get our money back if for some reason that person or the business is in default. So we look into all of those aspects before we can make a decision. And everything will get into the end on what is actually that risk level that we have before we can extend that credit. If the risk is high, most likely interest will be high, and at the same time we will ask for more documentation showing that you will be able to support that loan or that note that we're planning to provide to you.
Okay, cool. And so like for the personal side, when you're rebuilding credit, and what are 2 or 3 things that people you see that are working that had bad credit and then they build it up? Like what are some 2 or 3 things that they can first do? I feel like the first is just knowing where your credit is, and that kind of helps you build a plan from there. But what is some of the plans like, okay, if I were you, this is exactly what I would do?
Yeah. Being educated on what is reporting in your credit is important. So here at Chase, we have what's called Credit Journey. It's a free service that everyone can utilize to understand what's reporting out there. Definitely pull your actual report from the 3 bureaus once a year at least, so you know everything that's reporting there. Work on the most current, because that is most currently impacting your credit score today. If there are things that are older out there, you want to work on the more current things, so the 30, 60, 90 day, and making sure payment history is 40% of your overall credit score. So making sure that you're able to make those payments on time is very crucial. If there are opportunities for things to do settlements or if you're not able to pay in full, be aware of what that looks like. Lenders are going to want you to reach out to them first and foremost versus avoiding it. So have those conversations, see what type of negotiation you can make to be able to take care of those different debts that are out there. Of course, when you're looking at applying for things, only apply for what you need. You don't want to have a lot of hits against your credit because that does stay out there as well. There are options while you're rebuilding credit to get on someone else's. You can become an authorized user of someone else's card. That will help you build positive credit, so long as they're paying it on time, right? So make sure that that is happening. We do have different types of products that are like a secured product, where you're able to provide the funds up front, and then the financial institution extends it to you in a line of credit so that you can help build credit. That doesn't require a credit pull. So being aware of those different types of ways that you can help rebuild positive credit.
Okay, cool. So I want to open it up to everybody with questions and different things about finances. And so anything that somebody anybody got a question or anything?
Mine isn't about business, but I was wondering, what is the percent goal that you want to get to put a down payment on a house? Like, what would be a good percentage, would you say, that is a smart way of going about it?
Yes. So the inquiry was around down payment for a first-time home buyer. And I'll say across the board, it depends on the type of lending that you're going to have. Honestly, there are so many different products out there that lots of institutions have. There are a lot of benefits that you can have too, depending on where you're at, where they can help in that down payment space. So it depends. Have a conversation with a home lending advisor, understand what you can afford also and what different type of programs you can qualify for, because that question is not a one size fits all. So reach out to a home lending advisor, which we have here, by the way. We do mortgages here at Chase. In case you didn't know, we're not just a credit card company. You're in a bank today, right? We'd love to get you connected with someone.
Great question.
It said to pull your credit once a year to inquire and see like the 30, 60, 90. But then right after you had said like try not to pull it too frequently. I've always heard all my life like don't pull your credit for any random reason and things like that. Like, can you kind of explain like why not to do those things?
Yes.
And like what actually occurs with that?
Yeah, so the question was around credit inquiries and how frequently to do that. And I apologize, what I meant was to view your annual credit from the 3 bureaus. You're able to go through annualcreditreport.com annually and get all 3 from all 3 bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, where you can view what's out there. It's important to understand what's reporting, making sure there are no errors, of course, but that is not a hard inquiry for you to be able to do that. So a hard inquiry is when you're signing on the dotted line, you're like, yes, I want to move forward with this car loan or this credit card or this personal loan. That would be considered a hard inquiry, and those you do want to limit. They can ding your score initially about 5%. That's a 5% total factor that's made up in your score. But then it will start to build positive because it's going to go into the age and type of credit now that you're making payments and you're building on that. So only apply for what you need.
Can you say that website one more time for me, please?
Yeah, annualcreditreport.com. Free annualcreditreport.com.
Great question.
Kind of pivoting off of like what he said on that. So like I have the app Credit Karma.
Yes.
And so I like, you know, it just gives daily reports and stuff, but it's always like Equifax or TransUnion. Can you explain like those two differences and like why I might have like different scores for those two and like why one goes up kind of like, you know?
Yep, valid. So the question's around the discrepancy in your credit score in the different bureaus, and it's because of the timing of things. So when those different financial institutions are reporting to them, not all institutions actively report to all 3 credit bureaus at the same time. And so there can be differences there as to when that data is being collected from those different lenders and then reporting against on those different bureaus. There shouldn't be much discrepancy there. And then sometimes when you're going to a lender, they're going to get an overall score, which is called your FICO score, kind of takes into consideration all 3 scores. That's mainly what they're basing the lending decisions off of. But sometimes you do see differences in scores within each of them.
Can you speak upon, I still like the credit conversation, but like the nuance of timing of pulling? Because I know that if you're looking to buy a home, you can pull from several different lenders, but it kind of clusters the pull into one based on the credit type. Can you elaborate on that, just so I remember correctly? Like, yeah, if you're pulling credit multiple times, if it's for the same type of industry, it counts as one hit instead of 15.
Yeah, you know, so the question was in regards to if you're applying for a mortgage and or an auto loan, things like that, the way that they have the different pulls from the different lenders to see whom you're going to get that loan through. So yes, you're right. It is only one inquiry in that moment because of how they're kind of pulling against there, but that varies. That doesn't actually apply for every institution. So I would be mindful and knowing which ones that is, asking that question up front, because not all dealerships operate the same or financial institutions, so that's not always the case. Mm-hmm.
Business questions. Here we go. Yes.
Is there anyone that helps with, like, if you have grants involved in something that you're trying to get into, like, that helps determine, okay, I'm applying for these grants, so I need this much in funding, or vice versa? Like, there's somebody that works with you, like a grant writer or anybody like that can help small businesses with things like that?
Yes, we can talk about. I'm assuming that it's for a non-for-profit organization, or yes, it's for profit. For profit. Yes. So when it comes to grants, there's a few things as our organization at Chase that we're looking to support. We mainly work with on grants when it comes from non-for-profit organizations. But what happens with it is we do have some other teams that actually could look into the actual need for that business and see that if we may have an opportunity to assist. It's always good for us to present it over. It will depend on our three main pillars. If it's involving home lending, generational wealth or wealth management, and also business, when it comes to supporting the community, it could be that we may be able to step in to support that cause as well. So it will depend on the actual specific need, but we may have an actual team that could help with that need. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So earlier y'all touched on, what Michael had mentioned about, when you actually become a business, and he brought up business bank account aside from EIN and perhaps setting up your LLC. And I kind of want to piggyback off that as far as like asking, when exactly can you call or consider yourself to be a functional business? Like, because you mentioned that there's other factors. Could you like list those factors or kind of group that into one as far as like what all is needed, and when at one point can you actually call yourself a functional
Yes.
business?
And the question is in regard to when a business is officially operating. We can call it that way. Yes, there's a few factors, and going back to your question, Mike, as well. Making sure that we have the business established and registered to the Iowa Secretary of State, specifically here in Iowa, having the EIN, and actually having the operational account where you can just get the funds moving in and out of the account. Every single business will need to get clients, right? And then on that note, we can call that as soon as you do your first sale that you are recording that specific transaction, the business will be technically operating. But there's a few things that you like to keep in mind. One of them is not just selling and that's it, collecting those funds. You need to think about, if, for example, not sure exactly what kind of business you own, but how fast you get paid from your clients, how slow you'll pay your vendors. So you can just keep those funds in hand as much as you can, just in case you have any emergencies, to help you with that cash flow process in a way that you can survive within the time for the business as well. So I'll say that as soon as you get into your first sale, those funds, they get in, and you're working on your marketing piece, and you're working on trying to capture more clients, and at the same time having everything backstage with your name registered, your EIN as well, and then a good bank account with a good bank who is backing up all of your financial needs for your business. I think that we can call it an actual operational business.
Yeah, don't it really change? It's also like keeping in mind how your business is taxed as well, because some people might be mixing and mingling, and if you're registered as an S corp versus LLC, and then a C corp or a sole proprietorship, that changes the whole perception of
Correct.
how your business is taxed too. So that's important to keep in mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, sir. And
Right.
then also like with tax benefits, as far as like writing things off, especially with you as a DJ, that's going to change a lot of different things as well. You know.
Thank you.
We got one more question. Oh, we got two more. Go ahead.
Is there a difference between a startup business loan and a regular business loan?
Yes.
Or like, and then what do you have to have in place for a startup business loan?
Okay. Great question. And the question is in relation to startup business loans and business loans for established business, right? Regularly, financial institutions are looking for businesses to be established for at least 2 years and having over 100,000 on gross revenue for us to be considered a business completely established before we can jump into providing some lending options. But at the same time, you'll think that, okay, so if I don't have any business experience, I'm just getting my business started, where do I get funds? There's some other ways on how we can definitely get funds as well. One of them is directly with the SBA. I don't know if you heard about them, but actually it's a combined effort between the government and the actual financial institution where you may be able to get funds before you go into that 2 years mark. That could be an option. There's some CDFIs locally. Those are
Iowa Economic.
yes, like Iowa Economic and institutions that are here locally in a way that they can support business owners when they cannot get lending in a conventional way of just going to a commercial bank. So we have Capital Ventures, we have
The Iowa Center.
So companies like the Iowa Center here locally that could support initiatives of business owners just starting their journey could potentially help. And sometimes not commercial banks, but like local banks, like savings banks, like credit unions, may be able to offer some products sometimes that could help start that business that you're looking to start.
And if you were operating as a sole proprietor with your businesses because you didn't want to set an LLC up yet because of it just wasn't, you didn't need the benefits from the limited liability, would that resume as a sole proprietor and like having your receipts and everything, could that work as like to show that you've been operating, you just weren't an LLC, or is that not?
Yes, and the question is related to differences between LLCs and sole prop, right? And then on that note, yes. So one thing that I always like to highlight to business owners is it's easier for you to start your business as a sole prop. You can even use your social security number for it. You don't need to have actually an EIN for that. But one of the things that I like to highlight on that note is how soon are you planning to get into that transition of moving from the sole prop to the LLC? And the reason for that is because there's some record that you will definitely keep under your EIN as an LLC. It could be that you may not receive all of the benefits up front with the actual LLC as a limited liability company, but at the same time, you need to find ways on how you can protect your business as much as you can. And just because you need to protect your business as much as you can from the get-go, probably an LLC will be sometimes even better than just a sole prop. So on that note, making sure that you can differentiate, going back to the taxes piece as well, you need to do taxes kind of differently. You will need to mix it with your personal transactions too. So we want to make sure that you do things faster. If you want to jump into the LLC at some point, let's just make sure we can get it done from the get-go, just right there.
Yeah, and the transition is going to be a lot easier too because you have a track record of, okay, this is exactly how I'm supposed to be operating as a business, even if it's just you. So the earlier you start operating like that, the easier it's going to be when you have 5 or 6 people involved in your business that you're paying, because it's way more organized, and then it's going to show the growth of your business, especially when you're in like business accelerators and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot easier to show whoever you're working with exactly how you're operating. You know what I mean? We got one more question over here.
I was just going to ask what the biggest difference is in a lot of us do online sales now. Like we're just doing like online like courses and coaching and things like that. And so is there any advice you have versus like somebody who has like a
physical
brick and
store?
mortar, that someone would need to know about
Yes,
that?
and the question comes in ideas or tips, let's say, when it comes to businesses that are mainly operating online. One of the things that works well for that line of business or for that type of business is the marketing piece. There's a lot that is happening when it comes to the AI. There's a lot that is happening when it comes to social media. Then
Point in case with Cozy, please,
yeah.
over here.
That we have how many? Over 50 people coming in
Just to come get
because
matcha.
of TikTok and social media as a whole. So on that note, an actual physical location can take advantage of that feature, we can call it. But at the same time, businesses are mainly operating online. You need to master the way of how you can take advantage of that piece of technology. Social media is crucial. Website development in terms of having an actual website that your clients can come in and see everything that you're doing in a detailed base is crucial as well. You want to make sure that you use emails technologies in a way that you can reach out to your clients, that they can just get back to you the same way as well. So AI, social media, email, emails that you can reach out to your clients to is crucial on that part. So you need to, as you're online, everything has to be kind of under the technology side, I'll say.
Raphael has a workshop called Digital Marketing, and
Yeah.
so it's really intuitive, and it helps give you kind of a synopsis and put a plan in place on how you can help market yourself effectively in that.
As well.
Yes.
When is your next workshop?
Yeah.
Yes, we have one on the 29th, the Ingersoll location specifically for business owners. That will be entirely for free again, and we will be covering the power of capital. We will be talking about ways on how business owners can get access to capital. I know that we had one of those questions earlier today. And then there's going to be around 5 topics, and we're going to be rotating from location to location here in the Des Moines metro area. One of them will be that one, the power of capital. We'll have how to manage cash flow. We'll have one that will be marketing as well. We'll have one for business owners that they're starting their journey and they would like to talk a little bit more about how they can work with their business plan, and then how to build a team of trusted advisors, how you can get connected to lawyers, to accountants, how you can get connected to bankers. So things like that, we're going to be covering on all of those. But the one on the 29th will be the power of capital. We'll be talking about how to get access to capital.
What time?
4 to 5. And do you have
I'm going
it
to pull
out
up
here?
a QR code here for you
Yes.
all. So if you would like to learn more about
Yes.
the different workshops that we offer and or any products that we have here at Chase, there will be a QR code for you to be able to get your information in there. We can continue to keep in contact and get that information over to you
Yes.
if it's thinking.
Yes. It should load in effect.
Yeah.
Next 10 minutes.
Well, first off, make some noise again for Chase Bank for allowing us to be here, man. And then make some noise for our wonderful vendors. Make sure you shop with the vendors before you leave. And huge shout out to Amplify Voices. Y'all filming everything, y'all being here. It's truly an honor. I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so yeah.
And
Thank you.
Michael with Blaise for
Yeah.
connecting with us to bring this together. So thank you. Yes.
Of course,
Awesome.
man. We're gonna continue to do stuff in the future, man. I just want everybody to be inspired, motivated, especially as far as the fitness side, but then also like if you look at statistics based on like people in their financial categories, all the health problems they have, all the lack of resources, food deserts and all that type of stuff. So I feel like they always correlate. So I'm glad that we can come together, even though, I start some of the ideas, but I literally can't do none of it without everybody teaming up, helping out, being involved. So I appreciate everybody for real.